Yo, what's up? We got two Enlisted updates today. First, the event that just dropped, and secondly, the matchmaking update that dropped last Friday. First, what about the event? It's a Paris-themed event with some, well, AI-generated images as it looks. And yeah, like, look at these ugly-ass faces, and look at the unnatural shading and coloring of the faces and shadows and whatever. Yeah, this looks like. Also, look at this grass here. Yeah, that's an AI image. But okay, is the event itself better? Well, yeah, I'm afraid not. Like, we still have the big aviation event, which gives you two big planes, and everyone's already enjoying the Spitfire. I uploaded a short about it, and yeah, it's good. It's not as super strong as people claim. The P-40E that the Soviets get in the tech tree is overall stronger, because you can actually play it effectively at BR5. This thing is limited to BR2, maximum BR3, and then it becomes obsolete. So no, it's not the strongest player on BR2. It's not as overpowered. It's just very easy to fly. That's where most of the power lies. But that's it. This thing is gonna come out soon. Most people expect it not to be too strong, but let's see. Maybe it will be interesting. And most importantly, this machine gun already unlocked for many players. That's also quite a nice touch. So yeah, this event is still ongoing. While playing any event, you automatically are gonna get your 25,000 points for this event and, well, specific missions for this Paris event. Now, how do you get the prizes for this Burgers and Paris event, and how good are they? First of all, well, the prizes sadly suck. The Farca Hill is good. It's like a 20-round rifle for BR4, I think. A semi-auto rifle with low recoil, always good and fun to play, also looks nice. That's a good prize. And also you get this ridiculously ugly mini, well, Liberator pistol. That's basically a very cheaply, quickly, easily stamp steel created pistol that can be shot once, and you can only use specific ammunition in it, because otherwise the bore breaks, the barrel breaks. So yeah, this is just a low quality pistol. The history about it is it was built for partisans in France, and they were supposed to get this pistol. They could even assemble it themselves most often, and then you just shoot one enemy, and then you take his proper weapon and you use that instead. So yeah, that was literally a one-shot pistol, and now this pistol is available and listed. Now, one would assume a one-shot pistol kills an enemy with one shot. Well, in real life, the effective range was 8 meters. 8 meters is literally less than the minimum distance that's displayed in Enlisted damage stats. So, yeah. Now let's look at the normal pistol. Normal pistol, 5.3 damage, and there are also some pistols with higher damage. But mostly it's other nations, I think. Yeah, like 5.3 damage is the average you can get. This pistol gets... yeah, just take a look. This event pistol barely kills a soldier with one shot. Well, fun fact, it doesn't. If you hit him perfectly in the head or neck, yes, but other pistols will do the same, because you get a 2.3 multiplier for headshots and neck shots, and then yep, like, so the problem is this pistol is completely useless. It's literally worse than even the cheap beginner pistols you get at the very start of the game. So no, this pistol has simply no use in the game. The historical value, what about historical value? Well, let's put it this way. The partisans also used silenced, suppressed guns, like the suppressed Sten. Oh, this has actually much more historical value, because that was actually used. There were like over 10,000 built, a few 10,000 were built, very famously used by the British in Tunisia. And they were also given to the partisans in France. So this would have been a good price instead. And it's fun, it's nice, it's BR1, so new players can use it. And it's very cool. This is exactly the type of weapon that people want. Instead, this event gives out 4 of these slot pistols that are simply unplayable. So, yeah, this is just stupid. It's just very like, why? Why? Who would get such a retarded idea to put something into an event that has no use? Instead of just giving an item that's already in the game files and that people actually would be very hyped. Like, do the test. Imagine this event had 4 stands as a prize. You can even forget about the Farka Hill. Doesn't matter. Just 4 stands. People would get insane. Oh damn, best mini event ever. Yes, that would be the best mini event ever, but that's not the case. Instead you get this bullshit pistol. So yeah. And the missions, well, are the missions the increased amount as last time or not? Yep, it's the increased amount. You have to get those stupid 80 kill bolt actions, 80 overall kills. Some of these requirements are similar, though, well, 30 headshots also, it used to be 20. Yeah, so basically, yeah, just the event is just very much slop. Very much slop. Only useful prize is the Farka Hill. And you need to get 10 missions done. Yeah, I guess most players will automatically get this without really caring about the missions. But still, that's not how to do an event, Gaijin. Just don't create such slop. Instead, do good things. And the other thing is, well, the matchmaking. This matchmaking update excited some people, and lots of forum readers, to be polite, were soy-mouthing over these changes. Now, what do these changes say? Simple. There is no matchmaking enlisted, which is especially for new players highly confusing because, well, every game usually has matchmaking. Nope, no matchmaking listed. Problem is, though, it creates extremely imbalanced games, especially if the player base is very small. The chance to run into well, the chance to get a high series to run too often in a short amount of time into sweat stacks is very high. Also, with the implementation of this group recruiting feature, that if you click on it will create a little 4-man group, and other people who also click here can jump into the group, and then you get basically a 4-stack. This also created more situations where people stack up against people who just randomly single queue. And of course, you could always have just sweat stacks by up to 4 people in one team. If the sweat stack isn't sweating too hard, or if it's just average players or whatever, then yeah. Or if they just use weak BR against high BR games, it's okay. But if these people sweat super hard and just want to get easy games, yeah, then normal players can't do anything. Because the games are very imbalanced and unfair. And there's not really skill involved, it's just unfair gaming. So obviously people don't like that single queue players can play against stacks. So this change supposedly, well, changes that by making the matchmaking, or by first of all implementing matchmaking, and secondly balancing the games, the teams out. Fun fact though, it doesn't, because here's the rule now, since last Friday. Matches will follow the rule of a match can only have an imbalance of +1, ±1 teams. Now what does it mean? It means if you're playing in a team with if you're playing, let's say you're queuing and you're playing together with 3 other players, so you have 1 stack. Doesn't matter if you created it with a group or if you just used your contact list to create a stack. You have your 1 team now, and the enemy team will have ±1 of your amount of teams, meaning the enemy overall team will have either 0 stacks, 1 stack, or 2 stacks. Now that sounds balanced. Problem is though, 1 stack versus 2 stack is insanely unequal, because a stack of 4 even average players has the value of like 5, 6 to 7 normal players. If the enemy team has 1 more stack than you have, it's almost like playing against like 20 players. Yeah, you also have your stack. Let's say you have like it's like playing 15 versus 20. which is super unfair. Super unfair. So this matchmaking rule barely changes anything. Like every player who has long year experience in this game knows it doesn't change much. If it was exactly the same amount of stacks, okay, but if the enemy team has even one stack more than you have, it's over. Now, how do I know? Well, for those who've been watching my live streams since 3 months, most of the games we are actually stacking 1 versus 1. Like I have a stack and the enemies have a stack, and which we constantly requeue until we play against each other. So we get very nice, hard, challenging games. Problem is though, if one of our teams gets Q-sniped and then another stack joins the team, it's basically impossible to win. And we have a sample size of over 100 games that prove this, with high quality players. So yeah, it's simply not possible to get balanced games with this rule. And many people know that and also discuss that in the chats. It's simply not doing much. Then there's also the additional mini rule of the amount of players within the stacks being taken into account. So the goal is, if the queue is under 30 seconds, the maximum difference of players in the overall number of stacks is 2. So let's say you have a stack of 2 players and the enemies have a stack of 4. This is okay. But if the enemies have 2 stacks, let's say one stack is 2, the other stack is 3 players, the stack difference rule is active and it's fine, because you have 1 stack, the enemies have 2 stacks, so according to the matchmaking it's okay. But the enemies have 5 players and stacks, you have only 2, which is, well, not according to the 2-man difference rule. So by that logic, the game wouldn't be created like this. But if the queue takes too long, it increases to 4 players after like 30 seconds, and if the game is still no game created, it increases to 6 players difference after 2 minutes waiting. In other words, yes, like as long as the player base of Enlisted is small and doesn't grow, because the game has slop events like this which prevent growth, as long as that's the case, this rule doesn't do anything, and yeah, the matchmaking with the stacking also isn't helped. And keep in mind, like, the game significantly needs to improve, especially new player friendliness. And these matchmaking rules, people were asking for them basically 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago almost, when the merge dropped, because the game was insanely new player unfriendly. And you obviously can imagine you need rules that prevent new players, or just prevent unequal teams to constantly play against each other. And sadly this rule isn't that. So yeah, so no good news today, ironically enough. But there might be good news coming this week. Now, there have been rumors about a BR rebalancing, because rightfully Enlisted players have been pounding Gaijin to finally release a BR rebalancing. And guess why I started this video with this as a background? Yep, last year I bought all the stacks that there are in this game, including this one, and this is the strongest stack in the game. Why? Because it has side skirts, literally dead. So, and it's missing its machine gun that usually should be here. But okay, well, there were 1 trillion posts discussing, and I also mentioned it in a few videos, that stacks are simply unplayable, and most tank destroyers are unplayable in the game. You can go to the Soviets, you can take a look at the Soviets. They have also a tank destroyer. Well, Su-85. Well, why would you play an Su-85 if you could just play an IS-1? Like, same cannon, basically. Well, same performance if you look at the stats. But the IS-1 has insanely better armor, especially at the top, where you won't get strafed. Thanks if you're sitting in the ASA. And it has a turret. Like, and situations like these are completely common. Look at German stuff. Like, it gets ridiculously, well, stupid. Look at this. You get this Jagdpanzer for basically, it competes at BR5 with a King Tiger. This thing is worse than the Panther G at BR4. and it's still stuck in BR5. Like, these BRs are stupid as hell, yeah? They are absolutely brain dead, and you see that whoever is sitting at Gaijin constantly downing 1 vodka bottle per day, it's a random dude who never played Enlisted, but only played War Thunder. Because these BRs are basically pure one-on-one War Thunder logic, where tank destroyers are very strong, and that's why and where low profiles are actually useful. Yep, but yeah, but this is not this is not useful in Enlisted. In Enlisted, it's the opposite. In Enlisted, low profiles usually mean you cannot shoot on the maps. Low profiles are even sometimes an issue for normal tanks, like the Soviet T-28. This tank has the best stats overall in BR2, but the fact that it barely has any gun depression means that you can't properly shoot down. So, and you are quite a high, gigantic tank. So, if even these tanks have issues sometimes, the tank destroyers are utterly handicapped, and exactly that's the problem. But the biggest issue is, if a tank destroyer doesn't have a turret, your damage output is significantly decreased, and this is what all the forum tards don't get. They see, oh, strong armor, big cannon, it means it's strong and dangerous. No, you calculate efficacy by seeing, alright, how many kills would this thing get on average per minute? And the answer is not even 1/3 of what a normal tank would get. Like I had yesterday in the member private stream, I played the Stuck. And guess what? The Stuck couldn't do anything. The fact that you don't have a turret, the fact that you barely can aim, combined with the nerfed HEs in Enlisted, means that your HE shells don't explode properly. If you have a normal tank, well, you can just aim downwards and you get a better HE explosion than infantry actually dies if you shoot at the ground next to the infantry. Not with the Stuck. Here, most of your shells won't do anything. You cannot properly, if infantry is running around, you cannot properly follow them because you don't have a turret, so you have to completely turn your whole tank, usually exposing your sides, and yep. Literally all you can do is one-shot enemy tanks, but not even that is always the case. And against infantry you're basically impotent, and you don't even have a machine gun, and you have a reduced amount of ammo. So these things all need to be downranked by 1 BR. And like, it's just about fucking time that Gaijin downranks them. And you see the sad state of the game, that people are literally waiting for BR changes, because they're not even expecting anything cool new. They literally say, okay, just fucking release BR changes. It's ridiculous that there are no BR changes. The game needs BR changes across the whole board to get interesting things. Same thing for Japan. Absolute slop tech tree with all of its planes and its tanks. The ridiculous thing with Japan is, it's not that even... Look at this nonsense. This tank has a roughly similar cannon to the T-28E from the Soviets that we just saw at BR2, but much worse armor. Much worse armor. Because the T-28, even if you penetrate, there are so many dudes there, the tank is so big, it still will survive. Here, if you get penetrated, you're gone. So, this thing is BR3 for some reason. It should be BR2. Like, what the hell? What the hell? It's like, it doesn't make any sense at all. And there's constant slop. And Gaijin wonders why no one is buying things like the premium stacks, or like why no one wants the flak bus. Like, it took Gaijin over 1 year to reduce this to BR4 from BR5. It's still unplayable on BR4. It's still unplayable on BR4. And things like the Dicker Max are complete sad situation, sadly, because, well, Dicker Max, theoretically cool and fun, but guess what? It gets one-shot by everything. It gets penetrated by everything. It barely has ammunition. And then it's the same issue of you can't properly aim. And your big cannon won't even do much. It most of the time won't do anything against infantry, because the HE shells don't explode properly in Enlisted. And this will stay, by the way, forever, because all of the forum tards, they will always whine about, oh, HE is too strong, you need to nerf HE. So guess what? All of these, the dumbos comparing War Thunder with Enlisted, and then thinking that tanks like these should be viewed as dangerous as in War Thunder, they don't play the game. Because in War Thunder, the only thing that matters is how good are you against other tanks. In Enlisted, what matters is how good are you against infantry, and then how good are you against tanks. Because if you're not good against infantry, you're basically useless. Why should you have a tank that can only kill enemy tanks? You can ignore enemy tanks most of the time. You can kill them with planes and bazookas and everything. But what you need tanks for is to delete infantry. That's why, for example, the Panzer Trien is so dangerous. Because it can actually delete infantry insanely quickly with its very fast reload. Look at this cannon. You barely see it. But it has a very nice HE filler from the 75mm caliber. And it shoots extremely quickly because it reloads quickly. This is a pure infantry deletion machine. And it's undefeatable. And it doesn't matter if you can kill enemy tanks or not. You're just gonna get 30 to 40 infantry kills before the first enemy tank does anything against you. So yeah, we need fucking BR changes, and we need them ASAP. And the game needs to change the decision making and needs to start actually be creative. Because obviously the work speed is insanely slow. And if Gaijin became so slow with getting anything done in Enlisted cannot afford mistakes, because, well, if you're in a normal company, if someone fucks up, you can just do something quickly instead. So you compensate for the mistake and you give people something interesting. In Enlisted, it's not the case. If Gaijin fucks up, there won't be anything for the next 3 months. But there were already almost only fuck ups in the last 6 months. So yeah, Gaijin better doesn't fuck up this thing too. Because people are losing interest very hard. So yeah, all right, that's the state of what's going on right now. Let me know what you think in the comments below and discuss. We're gonna have much better discussions here than in the Reddit or forum slop nonsense swamp. So yeah, let me also know what you think will come out of the BR changes. If you have some spicy, interesting takes or prophecies, and also which ideas you have, what should be added in the next weeks, because the next big update should come in around like 1 month or 1.5 months. I think 1 month roughly. Well, we're talking about Gaijin, so 2 months. And the spoilers should start in around 2 weeks. So yeah, it's basically about time to think what could come up. Okay, make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so yet. And of course like the video and share it with all other Enlisted nerds you know. So they know what's up and that good things could theoretically be released soon. Until soon, goodbye.